I was talking to Jack Posobiec, and I said, Jack, I'm not a Christian. The resurrection story really, it doesn't do it for me. But I'll tell you what does. Possession. You tell me these people are possessed by demons, and I'm more inclined to believe in your religion. And I'm not joking about that, because there are people that I know, that I've known my whole life, that all of a sudden have turned evil, and I can't comprehend how.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you say, that's even scarier. You say low cognition people. I'm like, well, she's a judge. Like, I used to imagine that judges were intelligent, but if you can be both a judge and psychotic, then that's insane.
I went to law school. There's a bunch of dumb people in law school. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to get through. You have to memorize enough stuff to pass tests. That's it.
Yeah. You need to know precedent. Kind of is one of the things.
That's it.
Yeah.
Literally. So there are like kind of cheat sheets, like Cliff Notes back in the day, but there's like 3-4 pages. They sell them. They're laminated in bookstores, most bookstores. So you can get like constitutional law, tort law, stuff like that. And my professors back in the day in law school were like, don't go get those. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go get this then. And literally everything that was on the final exam was on a 6 to 8 page laminated thing. And that's the same stuff that's on bar exams. Doesn't take much.
That's so depressing.
Unreal.
That's so depressing.
Unreal.
And to your point about the story about when they talk about Brett Kavanaugh and suddenly he's in a dorm room and they're running trains on women and it sounds like a bad Hollywood movie, right? Like some crazy story. That's because politics it's Hollywood for ugly people.
They claimed that Brett Kavanaugh was party to these events where they would force women into a room. Men would line up outside the door, taking turns raping her while she's screaming and like everyone's just drinking and laughing about it.
Just unreal. Just so completely and totally unreal. And that was actually, I mean, granted, it didn't do what it was intended to do, which was prevent him from getting on the Supreme Court. So there was some, there were some reasonable people that were like, okay, this is nuts. But even still, like to think that that's a moral way to behave, and then to do those kind of things, and then afterwards act as if you are the upright citizen of good character.
What was the next thing they tried doing to Kavanaugh?
I don't remember.
Kill him?
I mean,
oh yeah, there was a guy around his house, right?
Yeah,
showed up at his house with tools to kidnap and murder Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah. So when I see the ruling, sometimes I'm just like, you can see what they're thinking. Like Amy Coney Barrett is terrified. She comes in, she helps overturn Roe v. Wade. I'm pretty sure she was with the conservatives on that one. Yeah. Now she's just ruling liberal the whole time. Yeah, somebody got to her. And maybe it was the death threat against Kavanaugh with the guy showing up. She's probably thinking, it really just comes down to which horse you're betting on. You think Trump's going to win, you think he's going to lose. And if you think he's going to lose, you better play ball, otherwise they're coming for you.
And they'll keep doing it too, because one of the things is when you believe that fervently in almost a religious manner that what you're doing is right, you will start to believe that the ends justify the means, and that will justify them to do, whether it's lying about something that very clearly never happened in college at the expense of someone's reputation, or attempting to harm someone who you believe is politically opposite of you. If you believe that you are in the moral right there, and they do, they're willing to go above and beyond any all measure to do harm to them because they believe that what they're doing is cosmically justified.
Also, we don't know half the things that happen security-wise to these Supreme Court justices. We knew the one story about Kavanaugh. I mean, this is probably a regular thing that happens. These death threats come through, and if you're not used to them, it's so weird to be like, hey, I get them. When I'm over the target, I get them. It's fine. You conceal carry, it's fine.
Let me show you this post. I put this up a week ago, but it exemplifies this. It's from the Reddit thread, Change My View. A person will post an opinion and then say, argue against me. And they wrote, American conservatism is objectively a dangerous ideology, and those associated with it do not deserve a platform. Writing, conservatism is undeniably a dangerous ideology. It seeks to fundamentally destroy and undermine democracy, targets minorities, has led to authoritarian regimes, and has destroyed the U.S. economy more times than I have fingers on my hands. The far-right pro-capitalist system they seek to implement only benefits the rich while leaving the poor, middle class, and everybody else to rot. They also seek to destroy education and brainwash children to believe in their hateful ideas. Conservatism is not about freedom and small government. It's about control. Anybody who identifies as a conservative, or for that matter, even a moderate right-leaning person, should not get a voice. They are equally as guilty for the destruction of American democracy as Trump and his cronies. Enabling conservatives to speak their minds is dangerous and leads to more harm to minorities. Giving conservatives a voice further leads to fascism ideas being implemented. It's time conservatives shut their mouths, listen to the real experts, and see that their hateful, divisive rhetoric and views are leading to fascism before our eyes. Let me just summarize it real quick for you. Conservatives are a threat to democracy, so we must end democracy.
Yeah.
This person is clearly anti-capitalism.
That's what it is.
They're making an anti-capitalist argument and ignoring the fact that capitalism is the engine that has pulled more people out of abject poverty than any other system that we've ever had, and they're totally unaware of it. It's mind-boggling that people will make these arguments when they're literally sitting in a comfortable life because of things like capitalism and markets.
But do you know how infected our society is with this and this anti-capitalism?
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And like one of the things, not to like shout out my company here, but like one of the things that we work on is exposing all of these organizations and these like corporate oversight boards, like the Human Resources. Human Rights Council, who used to just do gay marriage. Now they do like corporate governance, and they give scores on how woke these and how DEI these companies are. And same with there's a thing called B Corps and B Labs. They're our capitalist companies, our American-made companies, are going and just giving over their oversight to these crazy leftists with those ideologies.
Yeah,
It's
Hollywood
wild.
has done a very, very good job of othering the idea of the billionaire. It's one of these things where they've turned you into a supervillain no matter what, and they've turned you into some type of evil person. I was talking earlier this week, they're rebooting a show called Royal Pains from the USA Network back in like 2008. And in that show, there was lots of really, really rich people who had a concierge doctor in the Hamptons. And most of those rich people were portrayed as eccentric and weird, but generally good-hearted. And I said, they will never allow the ultra rich to be portrayed in any type of positive way right now, because they want to make sure that you as an average everyday person hold nothing but contempt for those who have made something for themselves and have built companies that employ thousands of people.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.